you're not going to be able to hide a ticking clock. The audience is so used to it, it's going to change the nature of your writing. It's going to change the nature of the game. The same as the audience is used to information withheld from one character while other characters know it. A lot of us live that. White guys have been living that for 20 or 30 years. The rest of you have been plotting behind our backs, pretending that we're friends. And now we're cottoning onto it. James O'Keefe, you're the man. Burn Disney down. Hey guys, this is John with the Alpha Channel update for Saturday, June 22nd, 2024. Getting it in just under the wire. Today was a busy day. As you can see, I got some sun. I was out at a wedding of a very good friend of mine who married an incredibly beautiful girl. I would be jealous, but I'm really happy and I don't want my life getting mixed up. But I'm really happy for him, and it was great to see all of my friends. We had a great day. We hung out last night and crashed at an Airbnb near the wedding, and just like a great 24 hours. Since the last time I did this, I've had a great, it's been a great day, great 2 days. So, because this is late and the other one was done early, so pretty much 2 days. Anyhow, this is Conan the Barbarian 171 by John Buscema and Michael Fleischer with Larry Hama as the editor. This one I think I bought. This was published in 1985 and I remember it, and I think I bought this one as a kid on the used comics stand as a backward or as a pre-read comic. And this is called Barbarian Death Song. It starts off with the Aquilonians fighting the Nemedians, and Conan is a general. I love this happy merchant rabbi character down here at the bottom. He looks like that rabbi who always dresses up as a Palestinian, and he's in all the memes. It's pretty hilarious. So this is almost the same picture with a little bit more room at the bottom for the fine print where Larry Hama's name can easily be seen. And this is John Buscema on the art. As you can tell, it's fantastic. In the beginning, the Nemedian king is asking Conan to be his general, and Conan's like, nah, I ain't having it. And his guards are like, let him go. He's not going to help us. The king does let him go. Conan takes a horse and immediately comes upon this beautiful blonde girl being savaged by the Falcon Brotherhood, whom he jumps right in and attacks and rescues her. Of course he does, because, dude, who's not going to rescue the beautiful blonde girl being attacked by ruffians out in the forest? And she shows him that she has a magic jewel. And so begins our tale of woe, this issue 171, with the mandatory flash. Does this start the flashback? I believe it is. No, this is the wizard who wants the jewel and is sending the Falcon Brotherhood after it. He is the plotter, the schemer. There's always a schemer, and this time he has the Falcon Brotherhood at his command. And doesn't he look like this Reese's Pieces schemer? That looks like a shekel clutcher if I ever saw one. So, goblins, they're goblins and dwarves have no souls. They were created by Vulcan. They weren't created by God. They weren't created by Odin. So here we have our mandatory flashback. So here is our mandatory flashback where Tasmara, the beautiful blonde girl from the northern steppes, explains to Conan how she was waylaid by a god. These beautiful girls are being raped by monsters or gods in every one of these issues lately. All of these issues are about strange progeny with otherworldly creatures. So Michael Fleischer, I think he's showing his ethnic background here a little bit, is talking about this god came down to earth and gave this beautiful Tasmara, her name is Tasmara, gave her a gem in which she can see the future, and she saw her parents dying in a fire, and when she got home the cabin was burnt, a la Luke Skywalker in the first episode, and now in A New Hope, and now in episode 4. Now in this next page, Conan asks the girl to look in it and see his future, and she sees his future. She sees him in a casket being buried. So, as we continue in this fantastic episode, we now have a dancing girl who, after our flashback, the next night in the village, there's a dancing girl. She's beautiful, like a very Electra Nachios, as opposed to Magic from, or Ileana Rasputin. Our blonde is a very Ileana Rasputin, and this girl's Electra, kind of-ish, you know. And so she's a dancing girl, and Conan and Tasmara ride into town and immediately get into trouble. They go into the bar where the Falcon Brotherhood has laid an ambush for them with the dancing girl, Electra. Electra Assassin is in this issue an assassin. She's well named, and they attack with the Snow Falcon. And Conan recognizes the Falcon because he knows that it's used by the Falcon Brotherhood, but he's not fast enough to prevent himself being slashed by one of the talons and poisoned, where he falls asleep. And this page is a real work of art. This could be a poster. This could be a poster hanging on a wall of Conan stoned or drunk or poisoned, which is, you know, definitely poisoned, probably also drunk. And just look at this page. Is that not that page? That page is art. John Buscema loved drawing it. And as a reader, you can't help but love reading it. And you know what else I've noticed a lot about John Buscema's stuff? His panels read left to right, even when you go, read left to right, even when you go left, right, down, left, right. It's like hopscotch, but it's natural because of the placement of the word boxes and the captions, and because he left space, and because the letterer, Ernie Chan, I believe, is in this one. So also we have Armando Gil as the inks, George Rousseau's colors, and Janice Chang on the letters. So she and everyone working on this issue, Larry Hama as the editor, Jim Shooter as the editor-in-chief, the pages really read easily. They flow. I noticed it in several points. I didn't have to wonder. They didn't need an arrow. It was really clear which order it was to read, which order you went to read with the panels. It flowed, and by flow, I mean it was effortless. I didn't have to do any work. I just rode the current. And that's really kind of a good way to describe it. So here we have Conan, now poisoned, being buried alive, just like Tasmara predicted. It certainly doesn't take long for the girl with the magic gemstone for her predictions to come true. And, well, because it's a comic, they're moving right along. They don't waste any time. And so here we have Conan getting out of the casket. He wastes no time either, but the art is amazing. It did take 2 pages. It did take a page to realize, is it in a casket? Page to get buried, page to come to the understanding, like Kill Bill, and a page to get out, right? To lift the huge slab off. And he doesn't just slide it off, he throws it off. A full press. A full press. And then, of course, we have Tasmara being tortured by the evil wizard, demanding her jewel. And he can't use it without her telling him. See, she has to be holding the jewel in order for anyone to see the future. She mentioned it to Conan, but she's not going to tell this guy, this schemy little goblin person. And so Conan escapes. Now he's attacking the Falcon Brotherhood again, laying waste to the soldiers before he can get to the wizard. And it adds, look at this one. What is this for? Choose your own adventure. Look at that. Look at the tonal Ming the Merciless ripoff up there. That's something, ain't it? Okay, so here is the last bit of soldiers. And Conan gets to the door at the bottom. So you, the reader, want to turn the page and find out what is on the next page after Conan kicks in the door. And it's interesting that he's kicking into the center. He would be kicking into the corner, so you would naturally do this. And here we go. We find the girl, the wizard, and all the madness. John Buscema does not disappoint, and the story's pretty good too. So Conan fights the wizard, and let's see how this goes. Conan fights the wizard, chases him off, rescues the girl. The wizard comes back with a torch, with a firebrand, and attacks Conan. And the next page is actually pretty cool. Check this out. He actually gets Conan a little bit. Conan's feeling the heat, as they would say. So, doesn't take long. Here we have another, I think this is in almost every issue, Conan throws his sword. So yeah, Conan throwing the sword is such a trope at this point. I've seen him do it so many times. I've seen so many artists do it. Neil Adams did it in one of my favorite Savage Sword episodes, The Night of the Dark God, where Conan goes back home to Samaria, to his home village, to find out that his girlfriend has been kidnapped by Vanir, or Aesir, or whatever. And he chases them down and finds their island and kills their leader with a thrown sword. He throws the sword in every episode, or every issue. So here the girl is now confronted by Odin, or Ymir, or the Allfather, however you want to describe him. And he apologizes to Conan for her behavior because she is not a girl that he slept with and gave a magic jewel to. She is his daughter, and she stole the magic jewel and went joyriding. She is a common thought, a Freya, a party girl who was taking Odin's jewels out for a spin on the mortal realm. And this is great. I hope all of this wasn't out of focus. I'm going to double check it before I continue with the episode here. This is him, the Allfather, taking her away, and Tusmar gets to say goodbye to Conan. And that's the end. Little girl, as they say. Oh, look. This is definitely my era. Duke from G.I. Joe. Conrad Hauser is his name. And Garfield. So, yeah, Conan the Barbarian 171. I'm going to check the... and it's 65 cents at this point. Look at that. How many years in is that? 170 issues at 12 a year? That's a lot. 144 is 10 years. So 85 is like 15 years. That's a lot of years. So yeah, Conan 171. I do believe I bought this at the comic store as a child. And by child, I mean high school probably. Certainly not able to drive, living at home with my parents. Wildwood Tarot for today is awesome. Wildwood Tarot, here's the box. Here is the Hooded Man, which is featured on the book. I love his mistletoe robe, which you don't really notice unless you look closely. Speaking of which, let me give you guys an up-close look. Today for our Wildwood Tarot card, we have the Sun of Life, which is actually really well drawn. I like the silhouette. Look at the sunlight around him. Look at how that's rendered. Look at the Triskelions on the two pillars at the foot of the card, near the garden. And then look at the garden itself. This is a really well-drawn card, let alone the figure and silhouette. That's actually not bad either. This is a really good one. This evokes a feeling of divinity, life, power, positivity, growth, everything that's good. Everything that's good. So that's Wildwood Tarot. And I want to go through the Alpha Channel ideals again, 7 of them. Until I get this right, I'm going to do this every episode, or until you guys actually leave a comment and say that you're watching and you're sick of hearing about it. 1, when you sit down to do art, do it with a clear conscience. Set aside everything, all the drama of the day. Don't bring it with you to the drafting table. Don't bring it with you to the music room, to the recording studio. Don't bring it with you to the stage or to the reading room if you're doing a play or if you're acting or doing anything like that. Leave all the drama behind. 2, don't do it for the money. If you're doing art for money, go be a banker, go work in finance, be a financial lawyer, go do money, go do the art of money doing. Don't do art for money. If you're doing art for money, you're not doing art for art, and you're just doing commercial art. And if that's what you want to do, then do that. You know, if I was never able to bring myself to become a professional advertising artist, to draw storyboards for advertising. I took a few storyboarding jobs. I took a few art, penciling, sort of drafting, character design jobs, concept art jobs. Some of them I did, some of them I turned down. The whole process just made me feel sick to my stomach. Working as an editor, making a lot less creative decisions, you get paid a lot more. Whereas an artist or a writer, they want a lot deeper creative decisions and they don't want to pay you anything. So if you're going to work for free, work for yourself. So find a way to separate your art from your money. don't involve money with your art. So that's number 2. Number 1, when you sit down to do art, do it with a clear conscience. Number 2, don't do it for money. If you're doing it for money, it won't work. 3, love it. Actually love the work, which is the other side of part 2, right? Do it for the love. If you're doing it for the love, the audience will feel that. That's absolutely important. For that love, I'm using the virtues as values. I've turned the virtues I've named the Valkyrie, who worked for Odin, who's the All-Father in my story. Faith, hope, and charity, grace, joy, and harmony, constance, honor, and melody, temperance, glory, and liberty, prudence, aletheia, or truth, and Trinity. And then, of course, we have Valeria. I definitely need 4 because we have 4 gates: the North Gate, South Gate, West Gate, East Gate. And those are the gates that the Satanists attack when they do their satanic frazzle drip ritual, which starts the whole story. They attack the gates to bring demons through. They want to bring in famine, pestilence, war, and death. And famine and pestilence are successful. Famine is represented by vampires, and pestilence is represented by zombies. And those are the West and East gates, respectively. The North Gate is locked. Hope is missing. The guards have to stand post at each of the gates. And the South Gate wasn't breached. So that's the beginning. That's sort of the inciting incident for the story I'm working on right now. And these virtues as values work for me because they help me stay focused on what's important in the world, in life, and, well, in fiction, in myth making. And in terms of that, when I use the virtues as values to fill gaps, to fill story holes, to advance the plot, these are like tools, these are tropes. These are tropes that I want to keep in my little basket, right? And the next one is nature for inspiration. So where and how you use these virtues is you make it natural, you make it feel natural. You make these tools, these story tools, like mystery, like concealing something from the audience, like a ticking clock. Those are tropes that the audience knows so well that they're going to be hard to hide. You're not going to be able to hide a ticking clock. The audience is so used to it, it's going to change the nature of your writing, it's going to change the nature of the game. The same as the audience is used to information withheld from one character while other characters know it. A lot of us live that. White guys have been living that for 20 or 30 years. The rest of you have been plotting behind our backs, pretending that we're friends. And now we're cottoning onto it. James O'Keefe, you're the man. Burn Disney down. It's not Walt's company anymore. What was Walt's last words? Don't let the Jews get the company. So, don't put money in your art. Nature for inspiration, no agenda. Don't even use a pro-white agenda in your artwork because it will come across as forced, it will come across as phony, it will come across as contrived. A lot of us remember the contrived pro-Christian comic books and coloring books of the early 80s that were hangers-on from the late 70s that no one could sell or get rid of because for some reason people don't like being preached to. The history of preaching is the history of the failure of preaching. Preaching doesn't work. Christianity didn't work through preaching. Preaching is what happens after someone's been converted. So when you convert a low intellect, they want to go around bullying everybody else. So that's my opinion on that. And the final thing is if you can do all 6 of these, if you can manage all 6 of these rules, if I can manage all 6 of these rules, sit down with a clear conscience, not about the money, it's about loving the work, using virtues as values and going to nature for inspiration without an agenda. If I can do those 6 things, then doing the work becomes the destination. And every time I do it, I'm happy with the outcome. Even if it's not where I needed to get to, it's a period of germination. I've begun to learn this about art too. You need to go through periods of germination where you plant a seed and then you can water it as much as you want. I can erase and draw over a composition as much as I want. But until I put in the time thinking about it and working on it and erasing it and drawing it over and erasing it and drawing it over, moving the arm over here, moving the arm up here, until I go through all those iterations, which I could never pay another artist to do. In editing, we give the writers and producers three notes passes. If they need more than 3 notes passes, they need a different editor. okay? If I can't get it right from the footage and the script that you give me, that we have to go back and forth more than 3 times, I will walk off the job. The same thing should be said for a comic book artist. If you have to go back and forth with a comic book artist about a page over and over again, fire him or he should quit because you're an idiot. And the same thing goes for this art. Now, what I'm doing with compositions, a lot of these compositions are really important. The artist should be putting in that work himself. And a really good artist like Jim Lee probably only has to erase the arm once. When I saw him do that on a Catwoman drawing in front of a room full of people, the arm looked perfectly good. He moved it to another position, which was 10 or 20% better, but none of us would have noticed. Other artists would have noticed. They would have been like, well, Jim, why'd you have that arm down here when up here you'd have taken care of all this dead space and you could have given the hand more articulation, you could have given the piece more personality. And Jim saw that and he erased the arm, just wiped it all out. So, and he wasn't using blue pencil. I know a lot of guys use blue pencil, but I've gotten away from that, and I feel like I've found my tool, which is a mechanical pencil, 0.5 millimeter with an extender, so I can hold it way back. I can do feather touch. It's taken me about 8 to 12 weeks to develop, to define the way I like to work my process. And that is everything. Those weeks, this has been so much fun. The success was found in doing all this. The success is found in that when you draw a shrub line, if you put shadows under the hedges, it looks really good. And if you lift the hedges up off the ground and put in a little bit of weeds with the shadows, then it looks amazing. And then you can fit in little rabbits and squirrels and all kinds of things like that. Like in these cards, these artists took the time. Look at the sunlight. Like, that's someone who loves doing the work. And they probably only got a prompt. Cards are usually only done with prompts, which is a 2 to 3 sentence description. A lot less than these guys are giving the AI when they have the AI draw a card for them. They're writing pages of prompts to get the style right, to get the colors right. Just do the art. Don't use AI. I believe that the future is AI for thumbnails, but no art can be sold using AI or you'll be blacklisted by other artists. And I believe in the future no one will speak to Jews. So that's me for today. I hope you guys had a great Saturday. Bye.